Hello everybody, this is Mikey Cap Productions, and today is that time of day again that I'm back for more Sunday shoutouts, and I got lots of people to go through, like lots. I got 2 lists, so I'm gonna go through them. And thank you for supporting my channel in all these years or something. Well, not years because I've been doing this. All right, so let's get started. Shout out to Abisis Horizon. Sorry guys. I can't pronounce that right. Anyways, check her out on YouTube, Abisis Horizon. Alright, Tristan on YouTube, shout out to him. Tristan YouTube, shout out to him. And Cheyenne Santiago, Spooky Shy, and on Instagram. You can, I don't know how to correct me if I'm wrong, guys, like I said. And shout out to John Jeethan on Facebook. Shout out to Oscar Sinichi on Facebook. And James Williams on Facebook. Shout out to Charlie Baldwin, Charbaldwin 05 on Twitter. Shout out to Alyssa Rogers at Alyssa414 on Twitter. And shout out to Kagan Rossiter on Kagan RTV1 on Twitter. And at Captain Noodles 2 at Twitter, and shout out to at Root West on Twitter, West Root on Instagram, and shout out to Ben H30 on the Ben3NH30 on Twitter, and you can find him on Ben.H30 on YouTube. And shout out to at DRM James at 1979 on Twitter. Shout out to Cole Capco at Capco92 on Twitter. And shout out to at Aquila Styles on at Aquila 2002 on Twitter. And Melissa 123456 on Instagram. And shout out to NFL.everything and on Instagram. And shout out to Rex Blavio, I don't know how to pronounce that. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he's on Instagram. And Steph is not social Instagram, and you can find her on Instagram, yes. And shout out to Elijah.boy21 Instagram, and shout out to Lewis or whatever our Instagram, and shout out to Bree Quallins. I don't know how to pronounce that, but correct me if I'm wrong, on Instagram. And Tris Weiss on Instagram, and many fan pics on Instagram. Shout out to Eero Watsits on Instagram, and shout out to Jalen.hash.mcguire on Instagram. And now let's go to the next page. We only got like several more. And shout out to Mackenzie Pepper Arnold on Instagram, and shout out to Noah Wenig on Instagram, and shout out to Lance and Lizzie Fan FP on Instagram. Shout out to Lance and Lizzie fan page on Instagram. Shout out to Lance Stewart best fan page on Instagram. Shout out to Lance and Lizzie on Instagram, and shout out to it's Geo Stewart on 210, and it's on Instagram. And shout out to it's Lance on 210 on Instagram. Shout out to Lance 210's Instagram, 210s or whatever. Shout out to Lance family page on Instagram. Shout out to Reality Lancers on Instagram. And shout out to, we only got 2 more left, so shout out to Lance and Lizzie Lover fan page Instagram. And finally we have Earl at Lar1234 on Instagram. So that concludes our shout out Sunday, guys, and I just want to say, guys, that thank you for subscribing to me on Instagram, and I just want to say I have 5,000 Instagram followers on Instagram, of course, and I'm almost to 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. So keep watching for more. I love you guys all. And I just want to say, guys, if I pronounce the name wrong, you just correct me if I'm wrong. And I hope to try better next week. I'll try really good.